Let's be honest, there are some times in Football Manager where you just want to splash the cash, you just want to spend some money, you want to have some fun. And this year more than most, very few teams have a whole lot of money to spend, but not these 5 teams. Today we are looking at 5 clubs owned by sugar daddies in Football Manager where you can go on some money spending sprees. Look, okay, I know what you're thinking, Jack. I'm not a sugar baby. I don't need a sugar daddy. Well, firstly, you do. Secondly, I do need to tell you about the 2 different types, because there are 2 different types of sugar daddies in this video. There are background sugar daddies. These are people who will invest money into a club, but over a period of time they may scale back their interest based on success on the pitch. And then you have your foreground sugar daddies. These are the ones that don't give a Scooby-Doo. They're going to throw money at you like it doesn't matter, and you're just going to have loads of money to spend, basically. There is also an underwriter, but that's a boring type of sugar daddy. We don't need that for today's video. And yeah, hopefully you enjoy the teams on this list. If you do, make sure to like the video, subscribe if you're new around here, and well, without further ado, let's get into this countdown. So kicking things off at number 5, we've got Kelantan, who play in the Malaysian Premier League. And I know what you're thinking, Jack, the top flight? No, it's not. Malaysia, you've got a Super League at the top. Can we all get together, all the nations of the world, and work out a naming convention that makes sense? But yes, we play in the Premier League, which isn't the top division, it's the second division, although Kelantan, a team far more familiar with the Super League here in Malaysia, and as you can see, they've had terrific success. They won the title, the Malaysian Super League, in 2011 and 2012. And in fact, in that 2012 season, they won the treble. They won the Malaysian FA Cup, and I believe they also won the Malaysian Cup as well. They just won everything in 2013, alongside, of course, the Super League. They have also won the Premier League, the division they're currently in. In terms of their ownership situation, they have a background sugar daddy. One who's going to sit in the background, as the name would suggest, and just give you money over the time to kind of help you on your way. Having been relegated a couple of years ago, Kelantan last year finished 10th in the Premier League, a very disappointing season. In terms of prediction for this current season, the board only want you to finish in mid-table. The media, though, backing you for a 4th place finish. What is worth noting with the Malaysian Football League system is it's very competitive. It's not necessarily the easiest league to get out of. Equally, there are a few other teams in Malaysia with background sugar daddies, and also the final boss, Johor DT, a team who I think previously were known as just Darul Takzim. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I think these may have even featured in my sugar daddy list for 2 years ago on FM19. They are just the big bad. They've won the league the last 6 years. They've got more money than you're going to have at Kelantan. Can you get back to the top flight? Can you dethrone the team that came away and stole your crown and saw you go tumbling down? Get Kelantan back to glory and maybe get them another treble. It's been almost 10 years since the last. Can you get them one in FM21? Long-term WorkTheSpace viewers might be getting a little bit of deja vu as I sit here on the Larne club profile. Of course, I managed them back in FM19, so I can vouch for the fact this is a fun little team to manage. And in fact, they featured in a video just like this one for FM19, and whilst they have had a promotion since I last featured them, they are still an incredibly fun team to manage. They play in the Northern Irish Football League in the Danks Bank Premiership. Of course, they made their return to the league last year and finished 6th. You're going to have plenty of money at this club. You're going to be one of the wealthiest teams in the land, and if you're someone who wants to do a building a nation save game, I think Larne is a very, very good team to do it with. In terms of the board expectations, they want you to qualify for the Euro 2 via the league in your first season and have, a first debut really in European football since their return to the league. You can see, looking at domestic cup competitions, none of them are important. It's all about league success. It's all about taking that next step up. Last year's mid-table finish was good, but the media expect more. They're backing you to finish 3rd. The bookies like you. Your squad's good. You've got £4 million in the bank, which is just an immeasurable amount of money compared to every other team in the league. And ultimately, within a few seasons, you should be establishing yourself as a Northern Irish force. But I feel like the long-term goal with this save game is to bolster the whole of the nation, to help Northern Ireland climb up the footballing coefficient ranks, get to the Europa League, get to the Champions League, maybe even win it all and become Northern Ireland national team manager. The club have a focus on youth. You're going to want to develop your facilities to ensure you're getting the best youth intakes through. And all in all, I just think Larne are a super fun save in a slightly smaller nation. And given the fact they have a foreground sugar daddy, it makes their challenge unique, albeit if they are starting in the top flight 2 years on from FM19. Coming in at number 3 on this list, we've got Almeria, who play in the second tier of Spain, a club whom have had a huge takeover and spent massive amounts of money in the summer. When you first take over the club, there is a bit of a limited transfer budget and wage budget, although there's a little bit of money there to make some moves happen. £4 million in the bank, and well, if we just take a quick look at their transfer history, wowzers. Yes, they spent £15 million over the summer. They brought in Umar Sadiq from Partizan. I think the most notable signing is actually Lucas Robertone, who they signed from Valles. He is just an absolutely incredible centre attacking mid, a top quality player. I'm sure a player who, if you've played Football Manager for the last couple of years, you've picked up at some point. And ultimately, the media back them, and the board expect you to get promoted in your first season. The media prediction, I believe, is second place. Of course, in the Spanish second division, the only other team really able to compete with you on a financial front is Espanyol, a team who had that shock relegation last year and should provide you with some stiff competition in your first league season. Ultimately, though, promotion should be on the cards quite simply. And I think the really interesting thing with Almeria is just going to be to see the kind of money the board are willing to give you if you get promoted, once they start tasting a little bit of success on the pitch. Of course, long-term aspirations, dominate Spanish football, knock off the big dogs, the Barcelonas, the Real Madrids, the Atletico Madrids. The reason that they're in this list, I think, is kind of obvious. It's kind of unusual for a foreground sugar daddy club to exist in a major European nation in the second tier. If you want a bit of a change longer term, but a chance to build a squad at a fairly comfortable pace early on, Almeria might just be the team for you. In at number 2, we've got a club with a background sugar daddy that starts in the third tier of Germany. It is KFC Uerdingen. And I realise that when I have a team at number 2 who have a background sugar daddy, I've got to have a pretty compelling case to have them this high in the video. So let me sell it to you. Uerdingen won the DFB Pokal in 1985. This is a team who have won silverware, everyone, major silverware as well. They finished third in the Bundesliga in 1986, but they've had all kinds of financial issues, and as you can see from this league history, it's been a tough couple of decades for Uerdingen. In the last couple of seasons, they've got promoted, and after a couple of mediocre seasons, the expectations are rising. The board expectation, win promotion. The media expectation, finish 4th. Yes, the board have lofty goals from the off. You might think, well, 4th place and getting promoted, that seems doable. Well, 4th place doesn't get you promoted. In fact, only finishing 1st or 2nd will get you an automatic spot. In terms of the club's vision, there's some kind of interesting stuff here. You've got a club culture of sign high reputation players. They want to build up the prestige of the club that they own. But you can see here, alongside winning promotion, they want you to work towards becoming self-sustainable. So unlike a lot of sugar daddies in this list, because you've got a background sugar daddy who wants to work towards becoming self-sustainable, they are going to pull the funding within the first few years. So really, it's about using that initial influx of cash to build a platform, a foundation, I suppose, to build a club off. I think it's interesting, that transition, having a lot of money for a club of your size, and then obviously having to become self-sustainable. You can see right now there is £11,000 free in the wage budget, which may not seem significant, but looking at the club's highest earners, realistically, if you can find the right free transfers, you could be adding in probably 3 or 4 top quality first team players. In terms of their key man, it would have to be Peter van Uijgen. That's definitely not... I'm sorry to my Dutch viewers, I've tried. He's a top quality centre mid, 28 years old, joined them on a free, perhaps the kind of player that you're going to want to try and target going forward. And well, despite being owned by a sugar daddy, you are not the richest team at this level by any means. In-goal starts have a hell of a lot of money and are expected to do well. And equally, Dresden, another team who are quite big for this level, have been up in the higher leagues in the second tier of Germany more recently, relegated last season. Promotion first year is going to be tough. You've only got a little bit of money, but it's enough to strengthen the team, as I already mentioned. I think if you can survive the first year, the big fun challenge is going to be using that initial bit of money that you might be given to build that platform and then become self-sustainable, a transition process. If you don't want to just stomp your way up the German leagues from the 3rd tier, but you'd like to have a little bit of a helping hand in the early years, Uerdingen, that could be a fun little project. And certainly, thinking further ahead, if I was to do a save in Germany this year, I'd have to give them some consideration just because they've got KFC written on their logo. In at number 1, we've got a Portuguese 3rd division club, Estrela da Amadora, a club who were founded this summer in July after the merging of 2 clubs and have a 4-ground sugar daddy. As I said, they play in the 3rd tier of Portugal and they were the merging of 2 clubs, the first of which was Club Sintra Football and the second of which was CF Estrela. And Estrela is a place within Portugal that had a football team up until 2010 with a fair bit of history. Now, when the 2 clubs merged, they obviously inherited each other's history. So looking at things here, they actually won a Portuguese Cup 30 years ago. The last few decades have not been kind on the team, and after, well, shall we say, a turbulent history, they find themselves 3 promotions away from glory. And you might think, Jack, what do you mean by 3 promotions away from glory? You're in the 3rd division. This is where things get a little bit complicated, folks. Buckle in. So Estrela da Amadora play in the Portuguese Championship, which, as you can see looking at things here, is currently the 3rd tier. You have the Portuguese Premier League, you have the Portuguese 2nd League, and then the Portugal Championship. If we take a look at the rules for this competition, you'll notice that some teams are getting promoted to the 2nd League, and other teams are getting promoted to a 3rd League. This is a 3rd League that isn't going to exist until the 2nd season of the save game. In the 2020-21 season, as Estrela da Amadora manager, you have the possibility to be promoted to the Portuguese 2nd Division, the new Portuguese 3rd Division, stay in your current division that will become a lower tier, or to be relegated out of the playable leagues. Hopefully that latter one isn't going to happen. Now, the Portuguese current 3rd tier, the Portugal Championship, is made up of 8 regional leagues. The top team from each of these leagues goes into one of 2 groups. These 2 groups are made up of the 4 champions of the 4 different regions, and the winners of the 2 separate groups get promoted to the existing 2nd League. So if you top your regional group as Estrela da Amadora manager, and then win the promotion league with all the other champions of the regional leagues in, congratulations, you've made it to the 2nd League. If you win your respective local league, but then come outside of the top spot in either of the 2 promotion groups to the 2nd League, you will still go up into the new 3rd division. If you fail to win your league, and if you were to finish in one of the 4 promotion spots in any of the 8 regional leagues, this is where things get a bit weird. You're going to go into a playoff. The 4 teams from 2nd to 5th in your local area, you all play each other again. And after 6 matches, the top 2 teams go into the newly established Portuguese 3rd Division. Now, the reason I've just explained all of that is because I want you to realise that at Estrela da Amadora, your first season is pretty bonkers. You have the possibility to be promoted to the 2nd League, the possibility to be promoted to the new 3rd Division, or of course just stay in your current league, which will become the 4th tier. It's a little bit mad what's going on in Portugal, but because there's so many different playoffs and groups to fight through, it's a really unique first season with all kinds of possible different outcomes and just so many big matches one after the other as you ultimately battle for promotion in a year of league reform. In terms of the club itself, you've got £4 million in the bank. You've got a crazy wage budget for this level. You've got so much money. It should be a very, very good year, but there are also 2 other Portuguese clubs at this level with sugar daddies just like you. So you're not going to be the only team spending big. And if you get drawn in a group with one of those clubs going into the promotion to the 2nd Division playoffs, it could be a fun end to the season. So now you know all about Estrela da Amadora. Number 1 in my list. I hope you can see why. A super unique season in Portugal. A very exciting team. Boatloads of cash. And one hell of a journey up to the very top and beyond of Portuguese and European football. And that is going to wrap things up for today's video, gang. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, well, great. We have more videos like this one. Check out the series playlist for more Football Manager top 5s and top 10s down in the description. And until next time, it is me, Jack. Thank you so much for watching as always. I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.